In southern Syria, over 300 are dead. Sweida burns as militias clash. Israel strikes, Damascus miscalculates, and a ceasefire teeters on a knife's edge. The US distances itself, while American firms quietly land to rebuild. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a high-stakes gamble in a fractured land. Israel and Syria have reached a ceasefire agreement after nearly a week of intense fighting in Syria's predominantly Druze Sweida province. According to US Ambassador to Turkey Tom Barrack, the truce was brokered with support from Turkey, Jordan, and other regional actors. According to the Syrian Network for Human Rights, the violence, which began as clashes between Bedouin fighters and Druze factions, has left over 300 people dead. On July 16th, Israeli airstrikes targeted Damascus and southern Syria, demanding the withdrawal of Syrian forces. Israel said the strikes were aimed at protecting the Druze community. In a statement posted on X, Ambassador Barrack called on Druze, Bedouins, and Sunnis to lay down their arms and work toward a unified Syrian identity.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa, supported by the USA Secretary of State Marco Rubio, have agreed to a ceasefire embraced by Turkey, Jordan, and their neighbors. We call upon Druze, Bedouins, and Sunnis to put down their weapons and, together with other minorities, build a new and united Syrian identity in peace and prosperity with its neighbors.
Despite long-standing objections, Israel on July 18th agreed to a 48-hour window allowing limited deployment of Syrian internal security forces into Sweida to help stabilize the area.
In light of the ongoing instability in southwest Syria, Israel has agreed to allow limited entry of the Syrian internal security forces into the Sweida district for the next 48 hours.
Describing Syria's new rulers as barely disguised jihadists, Israel has vowed to shield the area's Druze community from attack, encouraged by calls from Israel's own Druze minority. Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa, who has sought warmer ties with Washington, accused Israel of exploiting the conflict and reaffirmed his commitment to protecting the Druze minority. Reuters reporters saw a convoy of units from Syria's Interior Ministry stopped on a road in Daraa province, which lies directly east of Sweida. A security source told Reuters that forces were awaiting a final green light to enter Sweida. The Reuters reporters said thousands of Bedouin fighters were still streaming into Sweida on July 18th, prompting fears among residents that violence would continue unabated. According to 8 sources cited by Reuters, Syria's government miscalculated Israel's reaction to military deployments in the south, falsely believing it had tacit approval from both the United States and Israel. This move triggered Israeli airstrikes on Damascus and Sweida on July 16th, escalating the conflict further. Damascus reportedly based its decision on what it interpreted as US support for a centralized Syrian state and on quiet exchanges with Israeli officials. A Syrian foreign ministry official maintained the move was motivated by national priorities, claiming it aimed to restore order and protect civilians.
Barrack's comments had influenced the decision to deploy troops, which was made based on purely national considerations and with the aim of stopping the bloodshed, protecting civilians, and preventing the escalation of civil conflict.
The US State Department declined to discuss private diplomacy, but emphasized that Syria must safeguard all citizens and pursue accountability for abuses. It explicitly stated that Washington did not support Israel's airstrikes on Sweida.
The United States supports the territorial unity of Syria. The Syrian state has an obligation to protect all Syrians, including minority groups.
Joshua Landis, director of the Center for Middle East Studies at the University of Oklahoma, argued that President Ahmed al-Sharaa likely misread American intentions. US opposition to federalism, he said, was taken in Damascus as a green light for reasserting central control, even over Druze majority areas, and Israeli signals were similarly misunderstood.
It seems that his military staff misunderstood the backing of the US. It also misunderstood Israel's stand on the Jabal Druze in Sweida from its talks with Israel in Baku.
Syrian officials took Washington's silence as consent, leading to an unexpected and forceful Israeli response that has deepened mistrust and heightened the risk of further fragmentation in Syria's already fragile political landscape. Meanwhile, Reuters reported on July 19th that 3 US-based companies, Baker Hughes, Hunt Energy, and Argent LNG, are moving ahead with plans to rebuild Syria's battered energy infrastructure, marking a notable shift following the recent lifting of US sanctions. Argent LNG CEO Jonathan Bass told Reuters the group will develop a comprehensive master plan for Syria's oil, gas, and electricity sectors. In a post on LinkedIn on July 17th, Syrian Finance Minister Yasser Barnia said the 3 US-based companies were forming a coalition to invest in Syria and develop the country's energy sector. He said this visit signals a growing interest among American companies and investors in engaging with Syria.
We are initiating the development of a comprehensive master plan for energy and power generation in Syria, based on a preliminary assessment of opportunities for near-term improvements in generation capacity and service delivery. Our efforts aim to support the revitalization of the energy sector in coordination with relevant stakeholders. This includes potential activities across the value chain, from exploration and production to electricity generation, including a combined cycle power plant.
Bass explained that the initiative would focus initially on areas west of the Euphrates River, under government control. The goal, Bass said, is to revitalize Syria's energy supply by identifying short-term improvements in power generation and delivery, and to support broader sectoral recovery in coordination with local stakeholders. The plan could include activities across the value chain, from exploration and production to combined cycle electricity generation. The Syrian electricity grid, once capable of generating 9.5 gigawatts, now produces just 1.6. With state funds limited, Syria has turned to private investors and foreign partners to fill the gap. A recent $7 billion agreement with Qatar's UCC Holding signaled that trend. Bass, who visited Damascus in April and met with President al-Sharaa, said he's been developing the project since then. He noted that operating in Syria remains complex, describing the landscape as filled with craters, not just potholes, and warning that success demands teams ready to navigate serious risks